So the 2022 draft lottery is complete, and we finally know what the draft order is fully going to look like. The Orlando Magic got lucky. They went from 2 to 1. The OKC Thunder got the second overall pick. Can't complain if you're a fan of them or even if you're the Thunder. Rockets at 3, Kings at 4, and Pistons at 5. So today I'm going to be going through the lottery and giving you guys a mock draft. I will probably do a full first round, but I'll kind of go rapid fire when I'm done making those picks and letting you know like a tidbit about what I make there. So if you guys enjoy these mock drafts, feel free to drop a thumbs up. I'm going to be dropping periodical mock drafts over on the second channel. So you'll probably see like 2 or 3 over there come draft time if any news change or any updates I want to make to it. That will be on the second channel, and then my next mock draft here will be the day of the draft or the day before the draft, and it'll be my final mock. But yeah, this is what I think these teams will do. Drop a like if you guys do enjoy, and I do recommend using fanspo.com. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. I use this for all my trade simulations and my mock draft simulations as well. You have the best available players, you have their upcoming picks, their team needs, their salary cap, their current roster, their depth chart. It's by far the best draft simulator you can find. And I think with the number 1 overall pick, it's going to be Chet Holmgren. I think most teams, if they got the number 1 pick, we're going to take Chet out of Gonzaga. A big that has all defensive caliber, a skill set basically when it comes to rim protecting and versatility. And I think also his perimeter shooting is what's going to make him so valuable at the number 1. Because yes, there is some risk issues. Like if you look at his frame, could he get bodied in the NBA? Yeah, 100%. But the potential is there to be an all-world defender and an all-world shooter for a big man in the league, and that is going to be so valuable. The Orlando Magic could run out a starting 5 that's so young of Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., and Chet Holmgren. You might be asking about Jonathan Isaac. He hasn't played since the bubble. I don't think he would start. You can also throw Markelle Fultz in there as well. I think Chet Holmgren is 100% the number 1 overall pick, and I think the potential is there. Like, if you take Chet 1, I know some people are off him, and he ends up being that B word. I don't think anyone's going to fault you for taking Chet number 1. Like, most analysts big board, and I'm sure most teams big board, have Chet number 1. So the Orlando Magic, I love to see smaller markets get the number 1 overall pick. They take Chet Holmgren. Now on to pick 2 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've had lottery picks for the past couple of years, but they never really got that top end pick. Like, Giddey was out of the top 5. I guess technically 2 years ago was the Chris Paul year. Yeah, so it's been a minute since they've had a nice pick like this. And I think it comes down between Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero, whoever they like more, because they have their backcourt for the future in Shea and Josh Giddey. They don't really need to take a Jaden Ivey or Shaedon Sharpe who might cause some tensions in that backcourt and not have enough minutes for those guys, mainly for Giddey, and even like Trey Mann, who had a nice rookie year as well. And you definitely go big here. Like Pokusevski, not really the future there, or hasn't shown that he could be the future at the 4. Same with Darius Bazley. You take, I think, Jabari Smith here. There is some playmaking issues, but you have facilitators galore on this team in Shea and in Giddey. I think this would be a great position for Jabari Smith to get drafted, work on his playmaking ability, work on his ball handling, work on his jump shot, so he can be a great pick and roll piece, a great dribble handoff piece, and just a good inside piece for the Oklahoma City Thunder going forward. You have your backcourt in Giddey and Shea, you have your small forward in Dort, now your power forward in Jabari Smith. You could probably play some small ball 5 as well. You just got to figure out your center, which some teams, they're going away from that. Like, look at the Mavericks right now. So the Houston Rockets get some 2019 Knicks unluckiness, and they go from 1 to 3. Yep, I know I feel your pain, Rockets fans. I do. And I think they're going to go Paolo Banchero here with the 3rd overall pick. I think Christian Wood's days in Houston are numbered. They're going to go with the Alperen Şengün and Paolo Banchero front court. You have Jalen Green at the 2. You figure out maybe your point guard long term. I don't think it's Kevin Porter Jr. So you could go Jaden Ivey here. And I think if Ivy kills the combine or just kills the workouts, he might get that jump like, I don't know, Scotty Barnes had last year or something like that. And they could envision, okay, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Green, that is our backcourt for the next 10 plus years. I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. And if, hey, there's some rumblings that the Rockets would go Ivy at 3 over Banchero, I definitely wouldn't hesitate to mock that over on the second channel. So I'm going to have Banchero, though, as of now. I think he would be the pick. I think these 3 big men are going to be the top 3, and I think it worked out where a team didn't have to make a tough decision. Like, if the Thunder had the 4th overall pick and they were adding Ivy or Sharpe to their already crowded backcourt, I don't know, that might be a tough decision. So I have Banchero going to the Rockets at 3. Now on to one of the more lucky teams in this lottery, the Sacramento Kings, who jumped into the top 4. Pretty similar to what happened last year with the Toronto Raptors, and we all know that they ended up moving on from Tyrese Halliburton throughout the year. They already have Davion Mitchell, but you gotta go pretty much either Jaden Ivey or Shaedon Sharpe here. Ivey could play the 1 or the 2. I feel like Sharpe is going to be more of a wing. And I think like if you're building this team still around Fox, you have Sabonis, you already kind of have your playmakers. You got to take somebody with very high scoring upside in Shaedon Sharpe. I know he hasn't played any collegiate minutes, and this would be a Kings thing to do, you know, but he has the talent. He has all the talent. You've watched his kind of high school tape. I guess we'll see how he does throughout the workouts in the combine. But I think Sharpe goes 4, which means, I don't know. I just want to see this. I'm a sucker for it. The Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham backcourt. You get 2 guys that can facilitate, that can run the floor, that can dribble, that can create their own shot, that can attack the rim. And that is going to be so valuable for the Pistons when they develop and you're in the playoffs. Like, look at the Mavericks right now with Luka Doncic as the primary ball handler. Hey, that's still going to be Cade Cunningham. And then you have kind of like those sidekick pieces like your Spencer Dinwiddies, your Jalen Brunsons, and that could be Jaden Ivey, but even better. So I would just love that backcourt. I don't think you take AJ Griffin or Keegan Murray over him. We'll see if they rise up like Scotty Barnes last year, who jumped over Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Kuminga. But yeah, I have Ivy going to the Pistons right now. So yeah, that is my top 5 at the moment. Chet to the Magic, Jabari Smith to the Thunder, Banchero to the Rockets, Shaedon Sharpe to the Kings, and Jaden Ivey to the Pistons. Now we are on to the 6th overall pick for the Indiana Pacers, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting because I think this is the consensus top 5. You'll probably hear some, I think, AJ Griffin love going up to it, and I think AJ Griffin will be the pick for the Pacers here. TJ Warren is going to be a free agent. They're going in a different direction. Who knows if they move Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner. There's been those DeAndre Ayton rumors. And I think you continue to build around Tyrese Halliburton and you find that wing piece for the future in AJ Griffin, who has, I think, one of the highest upsides in this draft. Oof. And this is where it gets interesting for the Portland Trailblazers. And I don't think you can complain with Keegan Murray on the board at pick 7. Probably not the all-world defender that's coming out of college that maybe you want to this team, because you definitely need to add defenders to this Trailblazers lineup, but I think he gives you some pretty much floor spacing and something they really haven't had at that power forward spot since LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, they've gone through their Robert Covingtons of the world, but hey, Keegan Murray's upside definitely higher, and he could just be a great scoring piece around Lillard and Anthony Simons. It's just a questionable defensive front court with Murray and Nurkic, but you just add defenders in free agency, in which they have a lot of cap space for. Now we're on the clock with the Pelicans. They get this pick from the Lakers via the Anthony Davis trade back in 2019. And I think they can go 2 guard here. And there is 3 pretty solid options in Johnny Davis, in Dyson Daniels, and Benedict Mathurin. All 3 of these guys could play that 2 role, and maybe Dyson Daniels even that 1 role, because McCollum, there's really not a lot of shooting guards behind him, or at least 2s for that team. And they just pretty much need to add wing depth, in my opinion. Like, yeah, you have Trey Murphy. Herb Jones can kind of be a swingman there. But you get elite shooting in Johnny Davis, improve that bench, and I think he's the pick for them here at number 8. And I still think they should look at a point guard upgrade in the offseason. Call Indiana about Brogdon. So with the 9th overall pick here, I'm going to have the San Antonio Spurs select Benedict Mathurin, the wing out of Arizona. They have their point guard in DeJounte Murray, and they can kind of slide in pending free agent Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell into that starting shooting guard role. I think that's more Vassell's role next year. You can move Keldon Johnson to the 3, and hey, you have Mathurin coming off the bench as that scorer for the second unit. He's a little bit more NBA ready than I think some of these other guys available. They could also look at Dyson Daniels to maybe be that 2, or Jalen Duren, who could be that backup center behind Jakob Poeltl, who is a free agent, I believe, and I think they would obviously want to bring him back. He's kind of underrated, and I think Mathurin will be the pick out of Arizona. So we're here at number 10 with the Washington Wizards, and a team that desperately needs that point guard for the future. The Spencer Dinwiddie experiment didn't work out. The Russell Westbrook experiment didn't work out. John Wall's long gone. Somebody that might get some Josh Giddey pre-draft hype because of his size and his skill set, Dyson Daniels. And that's the guy you put around, I guess, Bradley Beal. I mean, the ages are way off, but hey, if you're going to trade Bradley Beal and maybe do a soft reboot to this team's future, I like him there with Kristaps Porzingis and Denny Avdija. and Corey Kispert as well, and then also maybe the Bradley Beal pieces you get in return. So that is my top 10 right now. We have 4 more picks left in the lottery. So Chet 1, Jabari Smith 2, Banchero 3, Sharp 4, Avi 5, with AJ Griffin going 6 to the Pacers, Keegan Murray 7 to the Blazers, Johnny Davis 8 to the Pels, Benedict Mather 9 to the Spurs, and Dyson Daniels 10 to the Wizards. So the Knicks do need a point guard, but I think they can go in different routes this offseason. There'll be a couple point guards available via trade. There's a couple free agent ones that they want to get creative in a sign and trade. So I don't think it's going to be Ty Washington or Kennedy Chandler unless some of the other guys may be available that are off the board. I think they would probably love Dyson Daniels here at 11, but I think the pick is going to be Jalen Duren out of Memphis. Mitchell Robinson is going to be a free agent. Not sure if they're going to pay him. Nerlens Noel has been injury prone. Taj Gibson is like 80 years old now. There was times where the Knicks were playing Obi Toppin at that backup 5 role, and which I'm fine with. Obi Toppin was good last year, but they can go with Jalen Duren, especially if they lose Mitchell Robinson in free agency, and he's going to be the 11th overall pick. Yeah, so I would have loved that pick to OKC as well, but you're not going to always get your top guys. But I do think that they can use some big man depth, and I think we could see Mark Williams. Because of the limited talent in this draft at the big man position, I think, or at least at the 5, I think Mark Williams could be the pick for the Thunder here with the 12th overall pick. Yeah. Like you could see their centers last year. JRE is kind of like a 4. Favors is probably gone. Yeah. Take Mark Williams out of Duke. Now on the clock here with the 13th overall pick, I think the Charlotte Hornets will go Jimmy Sohan out of Baylor. Or Sohan, I apologize. And he's somebody that could just provide them some defense in the front court, something they kind of lack. As you can see, Montrezl Hill, not a great defender. Mason Plumlee, not what he used to be. Miles Bridges, maybe a little bit undersized at the 4. Same with PJ Washington. Or Washington kind of being a tweener, you know? And I think they can really look at some defense, and that's Jimmy Sohan out of Baylor. And they're also looking for a new coach as well, so we'll see what happens. And then finally, with the last pick in the lottery, the team that did not make the playoffs but had a very good season, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think they would look for some scoring off the bench, and Ochai Agbaji out of Kansas is available. He's a senior. He's NBA ready. He'd slide right in perfectly to a backup wing spot, and I would love this pick for the Cavs at 14. They're just ready to, be a 6 seed or better. They don't have time to develop kind of 18-year-olds anymore. So we wrapped up the lottery with Jalen Duren to the Knicks at 11, Mark Williams to the Thunder at 12, Jimmy Sohan to the Hornets at 13, and Ochai Agbaji to the Cavs at 14. I'll see you guys when I complete the first round. So to finish out the first round, I had the Charlotte Hornets taking Ty Washington at 15. They desperately need a backup point guard behind LaMelo Ball. Malachi Branham to the Hawks at 16, gives them some wing scoring depth. Kennedy Chandler to the Rockets at 17. What's going on with John Wall? Is Kevin Porter Jr. the long-term answer? Yeah, get some stability there. Ousmane Dieng to the Bulls at 18, gives them some upside long term. I don't think they should reach on a big man here if Mark Williams and Jalen Duren are off the board, which they probably will be. Tari Eason to the Timberwolves at 19. He can play the 3 or the 4 and drastically improves their defense. Spurs also need some front court depth as well. EJ Liddell, he's NBA ready. Get him there at 20. Nikola Jovic joining Nikola Jokic at 21. I made the pick for the memes. Walker Kessler to the Grizzlies at 22 gives them some more big man depth. I mean, they just have depth in everything. They could also look at point guard as well with Tyus Jones pending free agency, and he can get a lot of money there that they maybe won't dish out to. Kendall Brown, high upside player to the Nets at 23. Same reasoning here for pretty much picks 24 and 25. Marjon Beauchamp to the Bucks at 24 gives them some scoring upside off the bench. Same with Jaden Hardy to the Spurs at 25, both coming from the G League Ignite. Blake Leslie, a very good shooter, being a nice spot-up guy around Luka Doncic, going to the Mavs at 26. Same with Bryce McGowns to the Heat at 27. This just seems Heat written all over it. Jacob Ravia to the Warriors at 28 with Bielitsa pending free agency. Otto Porter, he could be there for depth purposes. Patrick Baldwin Jr. to the Grizzlies at 29. I mean, he probably wouldn't play next year. They just have so many roster spots, or at least good players on this team. I could see them definitely trading multiple of their picks, but I like Patrick Baldwin's upside at 29. You really can't go wrong with that. Who would be like their 12th rotation, 13th, 14th rotational player. And Christian Koloko, some more big man depth to the Thunder at 30 with Derek Favors, Muscala most likely moving on. So yeah, that is my first post-2022 draft lottery mock draft. Let me know what you guys think of it down below. Like always, if you do enjoy these, feel free to drop a thumbs up. And yeah, if you agree with any of these picks or disagree, please let me know. And like I said, I will have a couple updated mock drafts throughout now and draft time over on my second channel. Link to that is in the description. I will also post on the community tab anytime I upload those. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'm excited to get into draft season. Hope you guys are enjoying the conference finals. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.